I want to start today with a little talk on something I read that was very interesting. Uh, per Joshua Cloak, he works for The Athletic up in Canada. Canadian men's national team manager Jesse Marsh had this to say. He said he was speaking glowingly about how the Blue Jays unified Canada. The Toronto Blue Jays played in the World Series against my Dodgers. That's an Otani hat right there, as you can see. Hell of a series, hell of a game seven. It was insane to watch. If some of you guys are baseball fans, leave a comment on where you were and how that was for you. I was here. We had a Halloween party. My wife's birthday. We did a Halloween themed party, costumes and everything, and there was like 20 something people in the house, and it got crazy and insane emotion. It was pretty cool. Pretty cool. A couple Blue Jay fans as well. He says, but adds of the national team, I believe we will be even bigger. I believe the World Cup at home will be even bigger. So Jesse Marsh is saying here that he thinks the World Cup on Canadian soil and US soil and Mexican soil will be bigger than the World Series was in Canada. There were 18.5 million Canadians that watched Game 7 at its peak. That's nearly 45% of the population of Canada that watched Game 7. There are only a few ways this happens. Now, you have to understand that the Toronto Blue Jays belong to Toronto, but there are a lot of Canadians who will support them. I'm sure there's still a lot of Canadians who feel for their Montreal Expos. But this is the only team that Canada has at the moment, baseball wise. And baseball's a big sport globally. It is. It's getting massive. For 45% of the population to tune in to one single game is insane. Insane. Now, this World Series is going to knock it out the park with the global numbers because you have Canada, because you have the Toronto Blue Jays, you have Japan, Otani, Yamamoto, some of those great stars on display. You had parts of Latin America, Dominican players, Puerto Rican players, Alejandro Kirk, Mexican player. Like globally, the numbers are going to be insane. But as it pertains to Canada, that's a lot of Canadians watching one game, watching baseball. For Jesse Marsh and the Canadian men's national team to get close to that number, do you know what they would have to do? They would have to make a run. And what I mean by run is a quarterfinal with the possibility of semifinal run. That's the type of run that Jesse Marsh and the Canadian men's national team will have to make, will have to be on for all of Canada, like the Blue Jays, to pay attention. It's the World Cup, and I've lived in Canada. I've lived in Toronto. Used to play for Toronto FC in Major League Soccer, one of my last teams that I played for. And when I lived in Canada, beautiful country with immigrants of French descent, Italian descent, all types. There's going to be a tug and pull, like in the US, of who you cheer for. But the second team will be Canada, like in the US. You're Mexican American, you're Italian American, you're German American, you're Russian American. Your second team, if not your first team, will be the US. You will have a soft spot for them. Same thing in Canada, but you have to make a run. We are about a month and some days. No, we're actually only like 29 days actually out from the World Cup draw. The possibilities of knowing the road that not only the Canadian men's national team, but the rest of CONCACAF will have to go through to make an eventual run will be out soon. It's impossible right now to say they are capable of a run. But I leave you with this Copa America. They were in a group with Argentina, uh, Peru, and Chile. And they got out. And they made it to the third place game. I know it's Copa America. I know it's distinct. But this team, and now more time under Jesse Marsh, they've done good things. They do good things, but they sometimes falter at the worst possible moments. I'm thinking Gold Cup against Guatemala. Stupid red card. Jacob Schaufelberg, they're behind the eight ball. today their best nine, the best nine in my money for CONCACAF, excuse me. He's he's not doing so well at Juventus. Now Juventus is not doing so well. It's another case. But Blakovic, the nine right there, is kind of taken over. Jonathan David has been historical in his slow starts at in Belgium when he's at again, excuse me, or at Lille. He's always started slow, but he's always ended so strong. So I have faith that he will get better. But right now, Alfonso Davies, you know, Alistar and at the back position, they've got some players who are injured or coming back from injury or who are not in their best moment, in their prime moment. Can they get there in 7-8 months? We will see. But for Jesse Marsh, for the Canadian national team to try to emulate what the Toronto Blue Jays did in that epic World Series, which I think played a part in so many viewers in Game 7, the back and forth of this series, they'd have to go on a run, a massive run. And yeah, all of Canada, they'll probably get behind you. But the Blue Jays right now, they're king in Canada. And I today do not see it happening. If they get on a run, yeah, people will pay attention.